Hey guys, welcome back to Built in America. I'm your host, Jeff Vreeland. This show is just about men and women who are actually building businesses in America today. Not just chasing profits, but trying to do it with conviction, integrity, and responsibility. Each episode, I sit down with founders, operators, and leaders who believe business is more than transactions. It's influence, it's stewardship, and it's one of the most powerful ways values show up in our real life. We're here to talk about marketplace, what's changing, what's working, and what it really takes to serve customers who care about what they buy and who they buy it from. These are honest conversations with people doing the work, learning in real time how to build, lead, and grow in a complicated world. And I'm very excited today to have Michael Corey, who's the founder and Bible teacher of Voice of Judah Ministries. And his work sits right in the intersection of building a business and staying grounded in his values. Michael, thanks so much, man, for being here today. Can you tell me a little bit about Voice of Judah Ministries?
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me here. I'm enjoying it. So Voice of Judah, the real name's Voice of Judah International Ministries. It started out of when I was in full-time ministry about 20 years ago. And what it grew into over the years was taking mission trips over to Israel and introducing them to the culture. We would take Christian groups and just kind of having a culture immersion. And we teach people about Israel and the church. That grew into teaching. And so I've been doing that for 20 years. And so I have a course that I am currently moving my course manual into a book. And so that's about teaching the larger story of Scripture. Goes into the finer details of the covenants in the Bible, relationship, redemption, kingdom, Israel and the church, where we are in that story today and how that shapes the lives of all of us in it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the book come out. All right, let's jump into the 5 questions that we ask at every show. First off, how does your business help people live out the values when they spend their money?
Well, like I said, Jeff, my ministry, Voice of Judah, teaches people the larger story of the Bible. And so we do go into the finer details. Big topic today is Israel and the church. And so when we clarify those things for people and teach them the larger story, it helps people clarify their values, what they believe, what's important to them. Things like faithfulness, stewardship, courage, responsibility. And so when people have clearer values, it creates a stronger anchor for them, I think, in their decision making, not just how they think spiritually, but how they think in every part of their lives, especially, how they spend their money and what businesses they choose to put their money into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Question number 2. What does building and growing your business here in America mean to you personally?
Oh man, I love this question actually because I love America. I grew up in Arkansas, went to a military college in South Carolina. I've lived in Georgia for most of my adult life. And so building and growing ministry here in America, really to me, I'm aligning my personal values and the values of my ministry with the values that this country was founded on and the belief systems that our founding fathers had. And so, in America, we have freedom, right? We're unique, I think, among most of the countries in the world in that we have the freedom to choose the type of life that we want to live and create and build things that we want to do. But I believe that with that freedom comes responsibility. And so that responsibility looks like, to me, serving people well and then aligning yourself and what you do with those values that our country was founded on.
Absolutely, man. I love it. I love it. We're going to have to talk a little bit about time in Georgia. I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan, as you can see. Got some Braves stuff behind me. So we'll have to talk about that off air. All right. Question number 3. How have you seen your customers change in the last few years or maybe in the last few months, especially those who are conservative or faith-minded customers?
That's a good question. So my ministry, customers, quote, customers are Christian. And so they're pretty strong in their faith already. And they're pretty strong, and I would say, in conservative values. And so, over the last few years, we've seen a lot of big shifts in our culture in America, right? We've seen it in the media, social media, politics, education, businesses, and how they operate. And so what I've seen in my colleagues, my friends, is a big shift into being more intentional about what companies they buy from, who they support, who they choose to align with, the type of life they want to lead. And I think overall, people are shifting from being passive consumers to being more intentional and definitely more values driven.
Absolutely. They are. Absolutely. So that goes right into our next question. What values guide the way that you lead your team and serve your customers?
So that's a good question too. Those values, that's, what I do in my ministry is just how I do my life. And so three of the biggest values that I have are integrity, service, and stewardship. Integrity just means being honest in what I do, honest in what my ministry does, transparent in how we operate, in front of people. It's a nonprofit, so we're very transparent with what we do, how the money's spent, and we consistently seek to do the right thing. Service would be, that's genuinely helping people and having a genuine interest in equipping people, helping them live better lives. Stewardship is, that's a big one because kind of like we mentioned before in some of the other questions, it's recognizing the opportunities that we have because of this amazing country that we live in and stewarding those opportunities well, whether it's a business relationship, making a new contract, making new relationships. So those values drive all that I do.
Absolutely. I love them. I love them. All right. Last question, which is my absolute favorite. What's one piece of advice you give to other business owners trying to reach values-driven Americans?
Oh man, I love this too. And I think it's simple. It's be clear on who you are and what you stand for. Because in today's society, people are value driven, I believe, because of the reasons we've talked about. And they're not really looking for perfection, I think. I think people want transparency and they want authenticity. And so knowing the companies and especially the leadership behind those companies, knowing that they genuinely believe what they say that they believe is important to people. I think when businesses operate with clarity and consistency, over time, people trust you. And when people trust you, that's when you build good relationships.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to throw a bonus question at you, Michael. You're not ready for this one. Maybe you are. I don't know. But if we checked your Amazon history, what is the one book we would see you purchasing the most or maybe even gifting the most? I told this question for my friend Jordan Rayner, who had the Mere Christians podcast for a long time. He asked that question all the time. I love the question. But what is one book that we would see you maybe have purchased the most or gifted the most?
That I could choose from several because there's a few books that come to mind for sure that have really shaped my life. But, I got to say the biggest one is The Sacred Romance. It's written by John Eldredge. And that book has impacted my life in so many ways. And what it did, and I read that book for the first time probably 15 years ago. And it changed how I see life in general, and especially how my faith exists and how I apply it to my life, because it helps you understand at a much deeper level, God and the Bible, our faith. It's not just about rules, obligations, or how we're, supposed to live our life. It's about a deep relationship with God. It's about intimate relationship. And so I continually go back every couple of years and read that book, and it's very much shaped me, my life, and I've seen it impact a lot of other lives as well.
Yeah, it's a great book. And a lot of people will know the author by his other book, the more popular one, Wild at Heart. But The Sacred Romance came before that. That was an early 2000s book. So I have read it. Oh man, it's gotta be 15, 20 years ago when I read it. But it's an old school, but definitely a good book. Definitely a good book.
Yeah.
So
he's one of my favorite authors. I probably have, not all of his books, but I have most of them.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, guys, that's a wrap on our show today. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. I hope today's conversation encouraged you and reminded you that building a business in this country is more than profits. It's about values. It's about people. It's about long-term impact. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to our weekly Liberty Spenders podcast, which you can find right here on YouTube, where we go deeper into how Americans are choosing to live out their values with where and how they spend their money. And if you are a business owner or a leader or a brand that wants to better understand how to serve values-driven Americans, check our website out, libertyspenders.com. You can book a meeting with me or any of the team there, and we'll be happy to talk with you. Last but not least, if you are or you know someone who would be a good guest here on the Built in America podcast, head over to builtinamericapodcast.com to learn more and apply. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for supporting American built businesses, and we'll see you next time on Built in America.